Daily driving my 2012 BMW E92 M3 for a little over 3 years. I documented those 3 years and what it's been like and overall what it's like to own my BMW E92 M3 over on AutoTrader. I also covered a short list of a bunch of random quirks of owning one. But today I want to do something a little different. I wanted to showcase some of the things I hate about this car. So, I know hate is a strong word about something that I care so dearly about, or hold so dearly, I guess you could say. So I wanted to think of this list more like things that annoy me over my 3-year ownership of the car, or why did BMW do this instead of changing it. Um, I'll even talk about some of the ways easy fixes to my little issues, but some of these things aren't just to my M3, they're to the 3 Series as well, but it's been my M3 ownership, so these are things that annoy me about my M3. So here goes. So first off, the most worthless thing I feel in my M3 is the seatbelt butler. It's a device right here that when you turn the car on, it slides out and it attempts to catch your seatbelt to bring it to you to make your life a little easier. But all it does is almost come to your shoulder, then fail. Almost come to your shoulder, then fail. I'm about to show you how worthless it is. So here we go. Oh, it's gonna come, it's gonna come. Oh, let go. See how worthless it is? There's a fuse pull that apparently gets rid of the ability for the butler to come out. But I'm not too keen on pulling fuses. I try to stay away from anything electrical and airbags. Airbags, electrical, I think are my pet peeves. I don't like to just mess with those things. Even for something as simple as a fuse pull for a seatbelt butler. Here it is, not going back in the car. It's just worthless to me. I think maybe this little tab could have been a little longer to catch and bring you the seatbelt. Part of it might be my seating position as well. I'm a really tall guy, but I like to sit forward, and I guess by the time it gets all the way up to me, then it lets go, as you can see at the end. Awkward enough, the passenger side doesn't seem to have um, as much as a as much as a worthlessness as my driver's side, but I don't really ride passenger unless my wife comes with me, or if I'm taking a buddy to lunch. But this, above all, is the most worthless thing in my car, and it just every time it comes out, I think, why is this here? So next up on my things that annoy me about my M3 list is my M3's brakes. So looking at the brakes you see right now, it looks like it's about the size of a 4-piston caliper set, but really these are single piston calipers. Now, saying that, these are probably the hardest working single piston calipers on any car, especially any car with 400 horsepower. I'm not sure there's a single piston caliper on any car that's got 400 horsepower now or back in 2008 to 2013 when this car was made. This is a fixable issue that I clearly have not done, and it's probably the most expensive fix for any of the things that I'm gonna tell you that annoy you about my car. It's gonna cost you a couple thousand to replace the brake calipers with something, from Brembo, AP Racing, Stop Tech has some kits, but it's gonna cost you a few grand to get some new calipers that can handle the job and the performance that you're gonna need for your M3. Now, I'm complaining about this, but I have had no problems, knock on wood or knock on carbon fiber, if you're superstitious, with my brakes. But it just sucks that there's not a performance brake on my performance car, which is supposed to be the benchmark of performance from the years of '08 to 2013. It's just something that BMW slacked on a little, but just something you gotta deal with. So for my next annoyance, as you can see, I'm in the passenger seat. Now I mentioned that I hold my M3 with high regard, so finding a list of things that annoy you about something you hold so dearly, it's kind of hard, but there are things that bother you, and even if it's really small, I think it deserves being on the list. But This one is that, you know, you open the glove box and there's your stock M3 manual. It's cool and branded, but it doesn't actually fit in the glove box. You basically ruin your manual jamming it in your glove box. It's got a concave bend to it now. It doesn't actually fit in your glove box. In your mailbox, yeah, in your glove box. Now, the weird thing is I have my registration, insurance, and that fits on top of it. But, you know, it doesn't fit. You can't really fix this unless you took your manual out as soon as you bought the car. I bought my car used. Luckily, the manual came with it. But, you know, by then, the manual was already concave, bent up. I mean, you could take the manual out, stick it in your trunk, but I think you want it in your glove box where every other manual is. But it's just something silly. They could have, I guess, engineered a manual that stopped, you know, a centimeter short, because that's about where the bend starts happening. But it's just some little annoyance that just bugged me. So if you read any of my previous stuff on Auto Trader, I've probably mentioned a few times that I think I am probably one of the tallest, if not the tallest, automotive journalists. I fit perfectly fine in my M3. Let me start by saying that. But this makes this next annoyance that I have with my M3 a little worse because I'm taller. So it's well known in the industry that the E92, E90 M3 seats are very tall for what they are. Me being 6'6", it just makes it a lot worse. Here's a better look at the seats. It's hard to tell, you know, a taller seat without any point of reference, but it's well known that these M3 seats are taller than normal performance car seats, and it's, you know, easily fixed by, you know, getting a performance seat with a lower bracket. And, you know, Recaro options, Sparco is a good option, and it just, you know, brings you closer to the floor. Now, like I said, I have no problem with headroom, even with these taller seats, and I'm 6'6", so, you know, you won't have any problems yourself if you ever pick up one of these cars. It's just, you'll just feel that you're above the steering wheel farther than you would be in another performance car. Instead of being parallel, we're kind of lower with the steering wheel. It's just, you know, something to know about the seats. So this next annoyance is kind of with the shape of the car affects something when I'm inside. So if you're like me, you may crack your window, you know, to amplify your exhaust sound a little bit more. Even if it's raining, you might crack your window if you're like me. Now, water just finds its way in my M3. So the way the wipers, you know, swing the water up to this corner, one, you can't see right now because I have the car nice and waxed. It just creates this crazy streak that just comes across right here. Luckily I cleaned it, but what you also have is the shape of the car. If I follow the line, the water would fall from straight here, straight down onto me. If I ever crack my window and it light drizzle, any sort of water on the car, it just falls in. You know, normally you might have a car and you crack your window, and if it's been raining, you just want to get some airflow so you don't fog up. It usually falls, you know, just on the door, or maybe on your, you know, driver door armrest. But with the M3, it, as you can see the angle, it falls straight on you. It's kind of annoying, and there isn't really a fix for it, and I'm not gonna lie, I still crack my window to hear my exhaust, because that's the whole point about having an M3 in my belief, is so you can enjoy it regardless of if there's a little suffering. But it's just something that, you know, the aerodynamics of the car, you know, it's not, I guess it's not, wasn't thought of to have your window down when you're, you know, driving around, cruising around in some wet weather. It's just something that annoys me. So I know some of these things that I hate about my M3 are a little bit of a stretch, but it shows you how much of a performance benchmark these E92 M3s really are. The performance and the miles per gallon are there for me every day I drive it, and I'm sitting here complaining about seat butlers and water falling in through my window because I put my window down. You know, these are really small things in the scheme of things, but it just shows you that I had to nitpick some things on my own car. If you own an E92 or even an E90 or E93 M3 and you hate something or something that annoys you that I didn't mention, let me know in the comments, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you can. Thanks.